Innovative content, global audience.
Afternoon, and you're watching SRTV. Name is Somto Black, and today we are going to be having the show Education with Somto Black. Today I have an amazing guest. She is the proprietress of the Child First School GRA Enugu. She's an education consultant, a role model, and a mother. So I'd like you to tell us your name and say one to us this afternoon. This is Nicole. Are you there?
Yes, good afternoon. Good
Hi. Are you
afternoon.
there? Hi. Can you hear me?
Hello, good afternoon. I can
Good
hear
afternoon.
you.
How are you doing today? How is Enugu?
Oh, I'm very well, thank you. Good afternoon, our viewers.
Good afternoon. So good to
My
have you on
name
the
is.
show Education with Sunto Black.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
All right. So today we are going to be looking at a very, very sensitive side of education, and that is the role of parenting in the child's education. Are there more to it, or do we think education is all about leaving your child to the teacher? Does it end in the classroom? These and many more we will be looking at today. These and many more we'll be looking at today. So that's why I have an expert and an authority in the field. Good to have you once more, Mrs. Nicole.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So I have a question for you this afternoon, and it goes: what do you think? Are you there? Can you hear
Yes,
me?
I'm with you. Good afternoon.
Hello, Mrs. Nicole. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. How does parenting influence a child motivation to learn and succeed in their
So,
education?
can
How
you
does
come?
Let me come again. How does parenting influence a child's motivation to learn and succeed in their education?
Okay, thank you for having me one more time. Talking about education, the the term education is very broad. Like as we all know, there is formal education, there is informal education, and I believe today we're looking at the formal education. That is the kind of education with the planned curriculum that sets the school as the core implementer of the curriculum. However, we must be in the know that education cannot be effective without the parents being involved.
You think
There's
so?
one way that we live in today. A lot of parents believe that the moment they pay fees, they are done. But
Okay.
they would like parents to know that there is much more to just paying fees. A child who goes to school would learn from the teacher. The teacher's responsibility is to impart knowledge. The parent's responsibility is to prepare the child for learning. So it's a job that must be carried out in partnership. Where parents fail to do their part, children will most likely not learn effectively. Thank you.
So are you trying to say that it's a collaborative effort?
Definitely, it must be a collaborative effort for a child to be finely educated. It goes beyond the school alone. The school, the family, which is parenting, which talks about the parentage of the child. Okay, even the society has a part to play. But let's just border it down to parenting. It is a collaborative it takes a collaborative effort rather.
So what are the effective parenting strategies that can help the child perform excellently in his or her education?
Okay, because of for want of time, I'd like to come out very straight. Um, um, the parenting strategies that can help to promote a child's learning They are quite numerous, but I would like to always say this. It actually begins as early as nursery school, primary school, and then secondary school. I
Okay.
feel that by the time the child is in the university, the child is almost formed and wouldn't be needing as much support as they would have during the earlier stages of their lives. I mean, nursery, primary, and of course, some good part of secondary school. One of the major ways is for parents to understand that they are the first teacher of their children.
I hope
Today,
you heard that. Sorry to cut you. You said something very striking and profound, and I would not want us to just run across without bringing it out as a point. You said that parents must be involved. So, how are you trying to say that for a child whose parents are too busy to get involved in his or her educational whatever, are you trying to say that that child does not do any hope of excelling in their academics? Or is there an alternative way? Because you said the parents must, is not can. The must means that it must. It's a criteria for the child to perform excellently. Are you trying to say, in other words, that if the parents are not involved, the child's educational performance is going to be very low?
yes, there's a whole lot of ways the parents come in. Like I said earlier, parents must understand that they are the first teacher of their children. The second thing parents must know is that they wield a lot of influence when it has to do with children. Most parents say, my kid,
Can you hear
my
me?
teacher
I'm with
said.
you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. Go ahead, thank you.
So they always say, my teacher said. They always say, that's not what my teacher said. But I want most parents to understand this, that children also do a lot of that around school. When they're in school, they do a lot more by saying, my mom said, they could say that to their teacher, they could say that to their head teacher, they say that to their friends all the time. So the parents are super influential when it comes to children. Parents must be aware that they are super influential when it comes to children. The second way parents can be involved with their children is that parents need to get a little bit more thorough. A lot of parents are not thorough at all with their children. They express their concerns in should I say, minor areas.
Okay.
This might not be so minor. I want to get my point, but they do not major on the major. When the parent
They do
doesn't
not
feel
major on the major. Okay.
exactly. A lot of parents spend a lot of time planning for their children's birthday party, planning
Mm,
for clothes and stuff, things that children will grow up and then forget. But they have no solid concrete plan for helping their children through their academic journey. For example, when parents discover their children are not doing well in math, English, science, whatever aspect of learning. They just refer to probably the school is not doing well, or I need to get an extra lesson teacher. And sometimes the reason why children are not doing well in a particular area, it goes beyond just comprehension level in the classroom. A lot of times there could be pressure from home. The parents, they might have some emotional
mm.
concern. Sometimes it could be social concern. Sometimes it
So
could be
trying to tell me
hereditary
that
concern.
the state of the family of a child can affect
Can
his or
affect
her educational
learning
performance.
exactly. Sometimes it's just because the child is not prepared to learn because of the immediate environment. I want you to know this. Nurture is stronger than nature. When you come into a kind of
Not sure
family
and
stronger than nature. When you come into a kind of family where parents do not know when to discuss some certain issues. For example, you could see a child who had a wonderful day in school, and just for the simple fact that the teacher forgot to put the right cutlery in the child's lunchbox, the mother will go all the way to install the
Sorry, I
system.
can barely hear you. Can you shift a little bit? I think the network is bad on your end.
Okay, can you hear me now? Are you able to hear me now? Are you able to hear me now?
I can hear you, but still not very clear.
Okay, I'm trying to come closer. Is it okay?
A little bit.
Okay, let me try. I feel it's network. Should I go on?
Hello, can you hear?
Yes, I can. Should I go on?
Yeah, it's better now. It's better. Thank you.
All
It's
right,
better.
thank you. So the parents would say all manner of hurtful words and demeaning things about the teacher before the child. I tell parents, most parents do not know the damage that causes in that child's head. So when the child is in the classroom, the child is less motivated to learn. Children, I want you to like buttress on this point. Children learn with honor. If they do not have honor for their teacher, they do not have honor for their school, the school will little or less impact them. Okay? Little or less impact them. You know those days when you're writing for a school and you're super excited, and at the same time you're afraid if you'll be taken. When you come into the school, you feel privileged to be there, not because your parents cannot afford to pay, but because you know and believe that that school is just the best place for anybody who is privileged to be there at the moment. When children approach their learning environment that way, they take out the work from there. But when it goes the other way around, the parents pay also there's room for dissatisfaction about how you express it. There are parents who don't know how to manage matters. They talk about a lot
Sorry,
of things.
your voice is not so clear.
Okay, is it clear now? Is it clearer?
Mm, can you shift a little bit?
Away from the phone.
No, no, no. I don't know, but I think
Okay,
it's a network problem.
closer. Okay, let me just go on because I'm way too close to the phone.
Okay,
Okay, so parents have the
I think it's better.
they, okay, parents have the major responsibility to make sure that their children are ready to learn. When a parent um, is dissatisfied about a particular thing, the way they go about it is very important. The kind of discussion they have about their children's learning environment and personnel who are involved in the kids' learning, it goes a long way to affect how the child considers their education. Some other reasons may be poor motivation. Imagine children who go to school for a whole term. Their parents do not look into their books. They don't know
That's
if they
very
have.
bad. That's very poor.
Their parents don't even know if they have homework or not. The children who turn in poor quality work every day. They will go home with a book, come back with it. It's either the work wasn't done or the work was done poorly or the book wasn't handled well. So these are the responsibilities. Now, this child doesn't just face an angry teacher. This child begins to form this belief that whatever I do in school is not important because I mean, if I have to go to school every day and the question is, did you finish your food? And no one is asking what were you taught today? What
Or
subjects do you have issues with? Can I see your work? Okay, would you bring back your math book? Or you call the teacher, I would love my child's math book home. I want to assist my child. I am very good at math. Now, all of these things can provide motivation for the child when I know that my parents are looking up to see what I'll do, when my parents are always asking questions and express a lot of interest in what I do at school, I will approach my learning with more seriousness. I tell you the story of a child who took her home, who went home with her results, and the next term came, and the teacher was, of course, asking, I am the teacher in question, did you show your parents your results? Did they see your results? And they were all like, yes,
no, it's
ma'am.
typical. I think
And what
I've lost you again. It It was clearer before now. I don't know what happened.
Okay. So I was telling you a story. Can you hear me?
Yeah, but your voice is not so clear.
I think it's from your end. Okay. So I was just telling you a story about a particular child.
I
It
can
was
still hear. I can still hear you.
okay. It was
Okay, we'll be right back
vacation.
after a short break. Please stay tuned. We will be right back after a short break.
Hooray! The next President Show is here again. Are you aged between 18 and 30, smart, bold, and possess exceptional leadership skills? Do you have what it takes to be the next youth governor and future youth president? Then register free now at superiorradioandtelevision.com or call the number on the screen. The next President reality TV show, moving politics out of the polite drawing room into the clamor of the streets.
Nomination is ongoing. Contact us at info@superiorradioandtelevision.com or via +234 814 358 2856 or +447 459.
Hooray! The next President Show is here again. Are you aged between 18 and 30, smart, bold, and possess exceptional leadership skills? Do you have what it takes to be the next youth governor and future youth president? Then register free now at superiorradioandtelevision.com or call the number on the screen. The next President reality TV show, moving politics out of the polite drawing room into the clamor of the streets.
Nomination is ongoing. Contact us at info@superiorradioandtelevision.com or via +234 814 358 2856 or +447 459 513 619. Forward by SRO TV in partnership with the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture, elevating good leadership in our world.
Welcome back. You're still watching SRTV, and we are still discussing the topic, the role of parenting in the child's education. Is parenting all about providing for this child, or are there more to parenting? And our host still remains Mrs. Nicole, the proprietress of the Prudent Child First School. Mrs. Nicole, are you there? Hello, Mrs. Nicole, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, but I can barely hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, but it's very faint.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Is it better now? Hello,
yeah,
Mrs.
I can
Nicole.
manage.
Okay, okay.
I can
So
manage. Go on.
Okay, yeah. Okay. So you said something very striking that the parents are actually the first teacher to their children, which
You
is
said?
not. You said that the parents are actually the first teachers of their children, and that was very profound. You know, we have a lot of parents who believe that parenting is all about providing for these children. They are too busy to look into their exercise books. Yes, I can relate to what you said lately because when I was a child, I had a father who was always looking into my books. And as a child, to be very honest, even the times I don't feel like writing my notes or, working hard to get good grades, I do that not just because I want to pass, but because I have a father at home that would penalize me very well if I don't come tops, or it was that good to looking at how my exercise book looked like. If he even stopped, because I used to have this habit of tearing my books, but because I had a father who was always looking at my books, I it helped me to stop it, and that was how whatever thing I am started. So I believe pretty well that parents are and must, parents should and must be involved in their child's academics. So very good. I still have another question for you, Mrs. Nico. What do you think parents can do better? Because one of the things I always want this show to look to come out with is for us to be very practical. I don't believe in theory. That's why I'm bringing somebody who is already in the field. I don't believe in people who will speak English, and I believe parents out there are also watching. You know, we have early risers or early learners, and we have late learners. I think I fell into the second category. I was not so smart growing up, but thank God I had parents who were so involved in my academics. I can vividly remember my mother, trying to put me through. So, but the question here is, do you think comparing children, because in the same family, maybe the first can be very very smart and very fast at learning, while maybe the second is not so smart like the first. Do you think it's healthy for parents to always compare? Because I believe that when you bring up that competitive stuff, does it help this other child or does it bring down something in this child? Please, can you throw more light on it, Mrs. Nico? Do you think competition can be healthy or bad? Hello, can you hear me?
Okay. I didn't think I could hear you
Okay,
very
fair
well.
question. Okay, okay, can you hear me now? Hello, Mrs. Nicole, can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes, can you hear me? I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. So I didn't get your question.
Okay, I was saying something about early learners and late learners. Children differs. I know pretty well that you should understand the psychology of a child. There are people who just picks everything like very very fast, while some it takes them time to understand the concept before they even get to put themselves into what the teacher is talking about. So for a parent, how do you approach this late learner? Bringing up competitive thoughts like, look at your sister is always getting this first or always ahead of you. Do you think such words can be useful or harmful? Because most time I know that our parents say these things to put the other one on his toes or her toes to pick up. But do you think the statement can help the child's academic performance, or in other words, is it going to damage it per se?
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you. Well, I feel that parenting is under is a lot of parents do not understand that parenting is a core responsibility and a part of their lives, and that is why many parents know little or nothing about parenting. Now, being a parent, I feel like everyone needs to learn a lot because just like in the subject we're talking about education, whenever you come into a school, many educators will agree with me when I say that every time you come into the classroom, you always look at the best in each class. Most times, it has a lot to do with their families, with the family that they are coming from. It has a lot to do with who is their father. It has a lot to do with where they are coming from. Who is their mother? What is it, a functional home? You see this, and most times you trace it back. I mean, 99% of the time, you trace it back to the home. You see that this child is getting enough support from the house. This child's self worth and esteem has been built to be very solid. So, in the case where you have children who are different, there's no two child that will be the same. Anyways, you must find out about each child's uniqueness. You must know what works. Most times, it's not
Said
really much
something
about
about
the
you must
uniqueness. It's
find
just that
out.
sometimes parents are
Sorry, I
more
lost you.
interested
I
in
didn't hear
some
what you
children
said.
whilst they are less interested in some, and this is usually a thing of default. That means that parenting requires a lot of intentionality. If you are an unintentional person, then you can never be a good parent, no matter how well you mean. You know, a lot of people say, in my heart, though, I love my children equally. But come on, ma'am, come on, sir, your action do not say that. It's
Yeah,
only God that sees the intent of the heart.
very
Men
true.
look at the
And
action,
time
they look at
relates
God
with your
appearance.
action towards
So
your
even
heart.
amongst the kids, they can tell you for free that this person is the sacred cow of the family. This is mommy's bestie. This that is bestie. It's not.
It's more prevalent in Africa. I think we have that favoritism, and I think it's also something parents need to, you know. Sometimes I know it's not easy to. There's this making it obvious. It's not is not healthy. You get
Never
right.
work because it will never work. It has never worked. It can breed contempt. It can
Yeah,
breed sibling rivalry that can even go until they are as old mothers and fathers. It wouldn't
very
help them to see the good in each other, the know the strength of each other, the weaknesses of the other person, try to support them in the best way possible. So I suggest that parents should be very much available to support children who need the help the most while encouraging those ones that are less likely to be overly dependent, especially educationally. And in most cases, when your child is not doing well, the mothers and the fathers should get ready to learn how to teach. Trust me, there's always something. I'm going to tell a very little story. So, my son started his swimming classes at a year and 6 months. I try to be as fast as possible, though not so early. Then I noticed he's been this
sorry, can you be
careful
audible?
child,
Can you be more audible?
overly careful, yeah, and that's because his dad is just as careful as can be, and it's not like he's not making progress, but I think progress was really slow. So one of the days I said to my husband,
Hello, Mrs. Nicole.
do their stuff with the children in school, and oh, because we're so busy or something like that. And I discovered that the very first day we swam as a family, seeing his both parents in the pool gave him this confidence. I didn't know where the confidence was coming from because of course I used to be there at the swimming classes most time. And then he began to swim. The next time he came for the class, the coach testified, I don't know what happened to him. He just all of a sudden gained his confidence. And oh my, I want to tell you that 70% of what your child needs is confidence. Most times the parents wash these children down with words. You say a lot of things. You're not good enough. You're dull. You're not smart. Look at your sister. She's smarter. Look at your brother. She's smarter. You're just eating my food. You're going to be a mechanic. Do you want to be a trader? What is even wrong with you? I mean, there's nothing wrong with being a trader. But if parents can
Yeah.
like build confidence in children, most times children just need to hear that they are enough. They just need to know that they can do it. They just need
They
to
need
know
that
that they have the
affirmation from
ability.
their
And
parents.
then you begin to see that. So parents should go the other route. I'm not going to be here telling parents what to do. I think they should become more interested
in learning intentional parenting and how to handle difficult children. That will do us a lot of good than bad, and it will give us confident children, because what we just need is confident children. When
Yeah.
these kids become confident, they will discover their strength. You don't need to pay a lot of attention to their weaknesses. Everyone has a strength and a weakness, or strengths and weaknesses rather. When they discover their strength while they are working on their weaknesses, they are doing amazing things, soaring at their strength. Thank you very much. So,
Wow. That was very awesome. That was very awesome. For the people watching out there, I hope you heard her when she said that parents should understand that their children are wired differently. And as an intentional parent, you need to, devise a system that fits the child. Because if Chiamaka is a fast learner and maybe Somto is not that fast, for an intentional parents per quote per se, sorry, you must know the style. You must devise a means to help this child. And you said something again that struck me, that all the child needs to become who he or she wants to be is confidence. So it is the parents' responsibility to boost this confidence in their children, because if you don't affirm your child feels like a failure. If all this child gets to hear is you have a, you know in those days our parents would say, is she sawdust? That means there's nothing in your brain. Olodo iti. The Yorubas will say olodo, the Igbos will say iti. I don't know what the Hausa called it as, but these words does not help the child's psychology. It doesn't at all. So another question for you. Thank you so much for that powerful answer. It was inspiring. So the next question: how well do you think parents can increase their children's learning ability and curiosity? We exist
sorry,
in
I
an
can't hear you.
okay. I'll take the question again. Okay. We exist in an African. So can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can try.
Okay, we exist in an African society where we see reading like a big work. A very funny man said, it's not our culture. We are Africans. We are meant to farm, and so, and the way our parents also approach it, I don't think we've been doing a good work in that aspect. So, how can parents foster a love for learning and curiosity in their children? How can parents help in fostering this curiosity for learning in their children?
Thank you very much, Miss Somto. This is also this is a question that's very dear to my heart. Like I said from the beginning, that parents must prepare their children for learning. Then you give us a prepared child. We are the educators. You give us a prepared child, and then we impact on the child who's prepared. Like I said, learning is not something you force on a child. Um, um, you must get the child ready for learning. The child must want to learn, because if not, you just look like throwing marshmallows on the head of a child and calling it eating. The child would have to want to eat. Like the saying goes, you can force a horse to the stream, but you won't be able to force the horse to drink water. So
Yeah,
we get
sorry for cutting you, because I remember vividly when I was still a child. There was this time we went for during the holidays, we went to stay with one of our aunties, and my auntie's husband was such a man that loved education, but he didn't have the right approach. So I can remember him, trying to use the brutal way. He literally forces us to go to the dining and read, and all we do there is just, we don't even know, I can't even remember flipping through the pages of my book, and we just do it for just for doing sake. We don't where It's not something. So you said something that is also profound. You said that the parent must put the children in the mood, right? I'm trying to paraphrase what you said. We must, put that child in that right sense to learn. Did I get you, or am I saying something else?
okay. I'm going to help you to paraphrase. like
Okay.
like I said, you can't force a child to learn as a teacher. The parents sole major responsibility is to ensure that the child is ready for learning, and this is how they do it. A lot of parents wake up to the fact that their kids are not interested in learning at age
Sorry,
11
please can you
most of
speak
the
up a
time.
little bit?
Statistic has it that most parents realize at age 11 or around age 8, 9, when it's expected that the child should be able to read one or two things and is not able to do that. Other times, when the child is able to just navigate reading, and towards, getting into secondary school, the parents begin to discover, oh, this child is not good enough. What have I been doing all the while? I won't tell you the truth. At that point, the child is almost kicked. That's the truth. And at that point, if you go the other route of military, trying to do the military, like the story you were telling, you could get the kids to sit down at the dining or wherever to read. And once they pick up book, they begin to do what they are interested in. Those who love to draw begins to draw. They draw and put it in the pages of the book they claim to be reading. Those who like to tell stories begin to write stories, and you come and look at them, and you can mistake them for reading their books. Yeah, I mean their class books. Those who I feel like it's all about upbringing. For example, the problem is even is the case is even worse now because we are in the age of the media. The world has become um, technology invested. I'll use that word in quotes because lots of children have access to phones, tablets, televisions, unlimited data to watch whatever network they want to. And as they grow up with that, parents fail to understand that these children are developing habits that can hamper the other positives in their lives. Now, you must know this from this show. You will learn something that anytime you are building a negative habit, you are choking the positive habit. It works together. Now, some
Yeah,
parents
exactly.
fail to understand that
Negative habits, but
their children having excessive screen time has anything to do with their book. They say it doesn't clog up their understanding. When they get to school, their teacher will teach them and then they will learn, and that's that. Let them have their time as kids. I didn't enjoy this. I want to give my children the life I didn't enjoy. During our own days, when your parents walk into the room, they touch the TV to know if it's hot. If you've been watching the TV all day, and it's more like there were TVs, but they try to curtail the time you spend on TV. I wouldn't know, but they kind of have this mindset that this could be harmful to the children's development. But I don't know why today's parents do not
that's
understand that.
it.
So
Yeah,
these children are overfed, they are obese with negative habits,
sounds.
and automatically they do not have any needed positivity for learning. Learning requires a lot of grit. They require to be focused. I have a particular child I teach in the class. Whilst you are teaching, this child is lost in his thoughts, thinking about his Xbox game. In short, he is playing the game in his head.
Red class or he's in the classroom.
All the things parents do not know that those things the children capture, they replay. They have this incessant replay button in their head. It keeps playing. That's why when you send them to get something, they try to dash off like the characters in cartoon without knowing that it's not real. When they play with their friends, they use those words. When they play, they try to act out. When they talk, they try to act out. When they think, that is what Bible says, out of the abundance of the heart the thing is flowing out of them. In short, they are saturated. It is saturated their thoughts. So if parents must get preparation well, they will begin by what they feed their children. Now, a lot of parents think that it's sending out the children, go and read your book. No, you need to build systems, and you start building a system from when you provide support. When the kids are younger in age, you get a study corner or even a study room if you can afford that. You saturate your home with books. You tell your children that books are amazing. You read to them. You encourage them to read books. You have mini book book reading competitions at home. You begin to do everything that will foster the love for reading in children, because this is one skill that parents are looking for. It's okay to take children to school, but you can't force them to read when they come home from school. You want the children to read. Any child that cannot sit down and study will most likely not succeed academically and in every other way, because you require that study habit. But when the screen time is too much, trust me, it's choking the study time. So I feel like parents should look at the time, the time they invest in other things that are not important, or that are dangerous. Sorry to use the word, it might be too powerful a verb to
I'm
use,
sorry,
but
sorry,
they
sorry
are
to cut you,
dangerous
Mrs.
to
Cole.
developing the required learning skills.
Sorry
Thank you.
to
I don't
cut
know
you,
if I
Mrs.
answered the
Cole.
question.
Hello.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, oh yeah. You said something about sitting down to read. I think I've also had something like that from Ken Getas. He's an academic person. He's more into the teens world. But there's this conversation I had with a mother like a few days ago. She said something that my daughter does not know how to sit in a spot for a long time to read. I think my daughter is an audio learner, and the baby is always with her, iPad, doing some stuff, listening to poems and other things. Do you think it's that healthy? Do you think it's healthy for a child of that age? I understand that as an adult, maybe if you do not want to read, you can listen to YouTube videos or other supplementary materials. But do you think that approach is healthy for a child?
Okay, thank you very much. Like I was going to add that, thank you for reminding me. Parents make a lot of excuses for their children when it comes to learning. They try to tell the teachers how to go about their job. Yeah, there are different kinds of learners. We have the auditory learners, we have kinetic learners, we have different kinds of learners, but the truth is the truth. These are facts, but there are truths. I'm a Christian, and we believe that the Bible, we believe everything the Bible says. It
Yeah.
says, train up a child in the way he should go. You don't make excuses for your children. When you see things that will not help that child, you help the child to curtail it. Okay. Now,
And
it
so
becomes very difficult for teachers in the 21st century to work with children, because the parents want to give you the child. They also want to tell you what to do and what not to do.
the child.
I mean, you don't do this, you don't do that, you don't do this, you don't do that. My child walks around, my child does this, my child does this. And I mean, who walks into the hospital and tells the doctor how to treat him? Okay. So
Very true.
you parents need to loosen up a little bit, maybe a little bit. I understand that there are some teachers who know little or nothing about taking care of children. Some of them abuse them physically, verbally. Some of them even go as far as abusing them emotionally and sexually. And of course, when such is discovered, even before it happens, you need to take actions, actions that can deter the rest of others like him or her. However, the truth remains that for a teacher who knows her onions to do her job, you need to give them some level of chance to be able to do that. Some children are good at walking around and learning. Oh, while they do that, they can disturb others who are not kinetic learners. So, a teacher who is trained on classroom management, I believe, knows best how to handle her class and push every learner to the next level. So, they should be given the school. Parents should allow schools, parents should allow the professionals at these things to be able to assist their children to become all that they should be. Okay, by understanding that kids are kids and mustn't be allowed to get away with everything they bring to the table. We are there as adults to guide them. If we see any malfunctioning, or you see notice they are developing traits that are not healthy for becoming successful adults, you help to curtail it. You train, you nurture, you mentor, you use every way possible that that communicates love and well-meaningness to help that child. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Nicole. Wow. I really do not know what to say at this point. Discipline is doing what you don't like. So I think the parents out there, it's high time you leave your children to teachers who know their work. Like you said, you don't take the patients to the hospital and want to help the doctor.
I can't.
So there are some things that this child must get used to doing, even if they do not like it. So the last question, because of time, we exist in an African society. We all know this gist now. It's a very common gist. Children are
I
being
can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
No,
Can you hear me now?
no.
Can you hear me?
I can barely hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can manage.
Okay. So the very last question, because of time, I think we have 5 minutes to go. Of course, we are in the African society where children literally fear their respect. Remember, I didn't use the word respect. We are scared of our parents in this part of the world, especially our fathers. When dad is coming back, everybody, the divers will dive under the bed, the rollers will roll out of the living room. Then the you understand what I'm trying to say. So I want to ask, how does communication between parents and teacher and their children contribute to the child's educational performance? How does the communication between the parents and their children contribute to the child's educational performance?
Okay, thank you very much. Of course, like all that we've been saying today, the communication between the parents and the children is very, very, very important. Just that the world today, whenever we talk about the communication between the parents and the children, most parents just feel like, I need to ask my child, are you okay with the stuff that go on in your school? Tell me, what are the bad things that go on
What
in
do
school today? Those questions are very, very important. Don't get me wrong, but you need to talk about real things with your children. Children are super smart. When you always come from that angle, they just feel like, if I get home today, once you ask the question, they already know what you want to hear, and they say today, guess what, mommy? Today, a child in my class said I was a child in my class said I was mad, I was stupid, something like that, because they already know that that is where the discussion always leads.
mom is going
Now,
to?
as a parent, when you are
Yeah.
having discussions with your children, it's always very important to express your expectations academically. It's
Okay.
always very important to tell your children that you're looking out for them and your expectations are super high and they can't fail you. It's also very important to express how much trust you have in them, how much you believe in them, how much you can't wait to see how wonderful they would perform. It's also very important to teach your children one or two little things that might have helped you while you were growing up. Children love stories, especially when you tell the stories about when you were in school, how you read your books. Of course, every Nigerian parent came first while they were in school. So those stories are also super important. It's also very important if you had some hard time academically. You want to tell them stories about the turning point where you had the turning point of your life, you know, um when you weren't doing well in school and all of a sudden you just changed and began to do well. What did you do differently? Those things inspire children a lot. A lot.
Yeah.
It's also very, very important to assist them.
When you're
You
trying
can
to
read or browse. That's why you have to be intentional. Find out ways you can help to improve their academics beyond the school suggestion. You can come up with ideas. How about we draw up a timetable, plan with your children? A lot of parents cannot come down to the level. You want to have children, but you need to learn to come down to the level of your children so that
very
you can
you can rub minds together. I know they are kids, but that's the
Children
best way to work with kids.
like children because the way and manner their parents relate with them, they relate as though they were talking to their fellow adults. So some children they don't even when you're talking to a child, the child is no more innocent. I don't mean like the other way, but the child is not just. So I think like parents too, we still need to come down to the level of our children. You know, if you go to Rome, you behave like a Roman. So we need to come down to their level. Even teachers do that a lot. Even in the religious
To
faith,
their level, you
some
know.
the cultural perspective. You can't be taking the gospel to the north and you're all dressed up and you're speaking English. It's not going to be effective. So I think our parents need to be able to come down to the level of their children. So good to have you once more. Because of time, I don't think we can go.
Yeah,
Thank you
you
so
need
much.
to. Oh my god.
So one more thing, what do you have to say to SRTV? Hello, Mrs. Nico. Okay. Okay. Viewers, thank you for staying with us. And this is where we will be drawing the curtain for today's show. I hope you learned one or two things. Dear parents, please, even if we did not take all the things, let us just be intentional with our children because the level of our intentionality can also determine their academic performance. Thanks for staying with us. And I'm still your girl, Somto Black. Bye for now.
Hooray! The next President Show is here again. Are you aged between 18 and 30, smart, bold, and possess exceptional leadership skills? Do you have what it takes to be the next youth governor and future youth president? Then